picking the Sivir and the Yuumi, giving both the Wukong and the Zeri over, I think was a big mistake. And this is where I'm oh, don't do it again.
Salty,
like, I much
run
prefer
back.
seeing, like, yeah, I'd love to see, like, Wukong, Yuumi should have been the pickup here in the last one. I think they've made the same mistake twice, because now you get the Zeri and also the Wukong. You get the Lulu here in the bot side. So again, we saw Lightning LvMao having a ton of opportunity in this bot side to take over and like having pressure in the bot lane. And well, now we got to see if we get the Nocturne ban. Looks like V5 thinking, hey, look, the problem might have just been this mid lane pick for Doinb.
Yeah, I do wonder what that focus is going to be. I'm just, honestly, I'm here for the salty run back. All right, Dagda, I know I'm saying it a bunch. I'm here for it, man. V5 don't want to feel the sting of that game, number one. They want to show that they have the execution. We do get the Vi ban from LNG, get a Silas, and the Nocturne ban there from V5.
All right, well, V5 thinking, look, this was the only problem. I'm not so sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Malphite going to be rebounding away again against LNG. There's the LvMao going back towards the Xin Zhao. Now the question mark is, what does Doinb play in mid lane? He has been very fond of the Akali, but you don't really want to play Akali against something like the Lissandra. So maybe we end up seeing him go back towards... honestly, like, well, maybe something like the Yone could be the option here if they are going to go for the AP top laner. But it could always look towards something. Sorry, I'm just flicking through. Like,
I would.
Yes. Just go for.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it is the Yone. Yeah. Okay. So this is again going to be Doinb seeing if he can have as big of an impact as we saw for him against LNG Gaming, where he was able to pick up the very early 4 kills and completely take over the game.
V5 are literally just saying, run it back, but without the paranoia. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm here for it, V5. I don't know if you go 2-0 down in the series because of this, but I am here for the execution bar they're setting for themselves. I think that's the biggest highlight here, is they do have confidence in what they brought out in game number 1, but it just came down to some of those mistakes.
I will say, like, this is V5 saying, look, no, we're as you say, confident in the way that we can play this. Like, the backlash that is going to come through if you end up running the same composition 2 times in a row and get the exact same result is not going to be pretty. But I do agree where we could almost see those picks working out for them in the mid game. But, you know, Doinb being that little bit too tanky, having that flash available, being able to reset fights was causing the major issues. So now we'll have to see if with Yone, he's still having a bit of slipperiness to him, but nowhere near the same extent as the Nocturne, if they can try and make these plays stick now.
And I'm just wondering the setup for both of them, right? We saw kind of a calm early game until that level 6 mark when we saw, you know, V5 were the ones with objective control until LNG decided to be a part of those fights. And now on the Yone, I feel like I want to dissect a little bit more about how Doinb approaches this in that different way against Rookie, who was on the Lissandra and is so confident in that pick.
I think the big thing is you're losing the safety net of Nocturne. Like, we could see in the early stages, V5 considering, especially when they got that first Rift Herald, roaming down to bot side, looking for a dive with the Rift Herald play. And then they're like, no, Doinb's on the way down. He has the ultimate. We can't really go for this. Now that you don't have access to that, you have to be so much more aware as LNG as to where V5 are putting presence in the early stages. So I definitely think you're going to have your work cut out for you here now as Doinb to try and match these roams significantly more from Rookie and try and be there like even a half step quicker, just to make sure you can actually get there in time.
Who will have the quicker pace as we get onto the rip for game number 2? LNG, they're trying to get to match point at this point. And V5, they got to come back into this series. It's going to be a tight one again, all focusing on the mid lane, the jungle duos for these two teams and where the early resources are going to be given to. We saw early on for LNG, they were picking scrappy fights in game number 1, and it came out to their benefit, at least to some extent, but it was really the late game decision making that made them win it, and obviously keeping an eye on that one going into this second game.
Yeah, and I think for LNG as well, just keeping their eyes on that double limb, the highest performance that they have managed to hit, both as LNG and as Snake, their old team, was 4th place. And they're going to want to do it again. It's like, nice. I thought that this was going to be, you know, some love taps back and forth, but we've already got Summoner spells burned.
Yes, we do. It's a little bit of spice for the bottom lane, but LNG just trying to make sure they have control of that bottom lane this time around. That clearing for Photic going to be there, though. And especially with what we saw last time around, like, a bit more of a spotlight of the bottom lane in those early trades. But Photic, he's going for the aggression. The cleanse was used, the heal was used. Now a little bit of damage back because they have the kite potential. And LvMao, he's looking for some damage. His override, he flashes, and that'll be quickly returned. All the summoner spells on bottom lane.
Yeah, I was kind of looking going, okay, you've still got the exhaust for ppgod. That's what they're trying to use, is the fact they have the advantage in summoner spells, but they don't actually try to blow the exhaust. So end up having to burn their own flash. So now Light, the only person left with flash in that bot side. And you can definitely feel the heartbeat of these jugglers start to pick up when they see these juicy opportunities on the bottom side.
I will say, Rookie, again for the second game in a row, will spot out the early pathing from Tarzan, but it looks like he was able to snoop back around the other side.
And that's what's so important here. So you think you're safe here because you've spotted Tarzan moving off into this top side, but he has managed to sneak around. And I'm curious if Light can loom out. Yeah, they will actually complete the back, but I mean, Photic, if he tries to stick around and fully clear out this wave, could end up running the fell of Tarzan, but looks like Tarzan is just going to reset as well. So more there to try and make sure that LvMao wasn't going to make any sort of play to the bottom side.
Nothing going to come over too soon as well, because we're seeing that, you know, lengthy pathing from both junglers early on in this one, in both games specifically, but especially now looking at Tarzan coming back towards this top side of the map, I'm always looking at the first movements from Rookie and Doinb in the mid lane, but looks like LvMao wants to go give a nice little visit to Ala up here as Rich getting some damage down preemptively. The wind becomes lightning flash out of, but the 3-talon strike isn't going to be enough. Oh, he flashes for it and he gets first blood for V5.
Yeah, they will spot out Tarzan on the top side, but there's nothing that he can do against Rich and LvMao. Nice gank from LvMao to punish Ala on the overextension. Rich should be able to get this wave crashed in fairly handily as well, but Tarzan will spot out LvMao. I don't know if he can really make anything happen here, though. Like, you still have Rookie with control over mid.
He's just going for the aggression. He's trying to keep LvMao out of his own jungle here, which, you know, returns with a nice little bit of aggression himself. But he had Ala come back in. Ala has backed off now. The Tarzan still keeping up with the aggression. Does get the knockup from Rich, though. A little bit of damage traded back and forth up here on the top side. Tarzan spending a lot of time, though, as well as XLB.
I mean, LvMao is fine, right? He actually just wants to clear out this camp and then maybe look for his Raptors, but it's actually Tarzan who spent a lot of time up here. Hasn't finished his full clear. Like, he's only sitting at the 16 CS plus the one extra that he stole away from LvMao on this top side. So he still needs to clear out a good amount of his camps, even the blue buff still left standing. So it gives a little bit more time to LvMao now to get access to the map, especially as he starts to move back down towards this bot side. He'll probably go for a scuttle into Gromp, and maybe then we can see him look for LvMao on that bot side before that flash comes back up.
And something else I obviously want to focus on as we're getting first dragon on the map. We saw V5 put a pretty big emphasis on the early objective at least, but then LNG were there to contest them. So I wonder what kind of difference we get out of V5 this time around if they still try to go for that early focus, especially with the way their lanes are set up.
But at the moment, the focus is on Raptors and trying to see if you can actually have ppgod help out LvMao here. LvMao moving across as well. We'll spot out that they've been taken. So curious to see. I think the Dragon definitely still a possibility of a focus here for V5, especially as we talk about like Rookie having good amount of push in the mid lane. LvMao having Photic's push in bot side as well can work out well. But I think it'll be a little bit of time before they fully try and commit to that.
Yeah, we do see the back was caught out by LNG. Does get the TP out from Rookie. Sure to join him very quickly with that TP back to mid lane. And we did see a lot of presence right around the setup, the vision control around that objective, just to see which side is more willing to commit to that. But right back to good graces, right? We're getting right back to the farming aspect here and not going to have that big moment shake-up that we got last time around right when we hit that level 6 mark, it felt like.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe we still get that because Rookie has hit 6 and immediately LvMao's like, ooh, that's shiny. Let me go here.
He is going to go back, and now it's all set up. The Fate Sealed comes out, but there's the Frozen Tomb on the back of it. Wind becomes lightning there in the end, but it'll be a nice get out from Doinb. Summoner spells burn, though.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate on the timing there from Rookie from that ultimate. He ends up throwing down the Frozen Tomb as the Unsealed Fate is coming through from Doinb. So basically the entire time Doinb is, you know, self-CC'd in that ultimate. Oh, actually, hang on, Light.
He's looking for some proactivity, though. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the entire time that you're kind of self-CC'd as your animation for the Unsealed Fate is the exact same length as the Frozen Tomb. So Doinb actually kind of just tanks, essentially, the CC the Frozen Tomb offers, and you never actually get the damage from LvMao. So a bit unfortunate there on the timing, and it means that Doinb will just about manage to escape it.
I just love that after that, Rookie was quick to try to make something else happen, right? And I think that's something that we need to see from Rookie in the mid lane for V5, but as well as out of the mid lane, because I think if they're going to find a hand in this series, he has to find an upper hand over Doinb.
Yeah, and right now hasn't been able to do so, right? We've seen it both in game 1, where Rookie tried to make some plays happen, but the Nocturne was able to follow, and now even in game 2 as well, Doinb staying safe despite this presence from LvMao, not able to get the roams that we were hoping to see from Rookie. And it feels like now with the ultimate burnt, we'll need at least another little bit of time before they can try and make something happen on the bot side, but looks like as it will be up in just about 15 seconds. Dragon will be started by LvMao, thinking, hey, look, Rookie still has presence in mid. We can still get this objective for ourselves.
Yeah, they've had a lot of strength, it feels, in the laning of mid and bottom lane. So it has opened up these early objectives, at least. I have maybe 3 minutes late. The spot is not super early, but at least V5 will be looking for some proactivity there and getting something stacking. But with Rift Herald coming up across the other side, right, and with a little bit of aggression onto Rich from Tarzan, I wonder if V5 are willing to kind of transition up towards that top side of the map and maybe contest Richard.
Yeah, I think they'll probably just be happy with the Dragon for the moment. And they do a push on bot side, so maybe they decide against it, but I think it'd be a little bit risky, especially as Tarzan has already started up. Level 6 is hit for LvMao, and Tarzan doesn't have that though. With Rookie maybe spotting this out, that could actually be the decision maker here for V5 to try and take this fight.
And look at this, Light is way behind the bottom lane of V5 as well, so they will have man advantage, and LNG realized that Tarzan has to get out of there because of the contest, and actually good play might come out here from V5. They try to catch Ala, don't do it, they turn right back onto the Rift Herald.
So much better early focus here from V5. They get the Dragon. Rich also doesn't get caught like we saw in game 1, and now you've got V5 who have the upper hand with this Rift Herald. So this is certainly what they were trying to achieve in this last game, but just couldn't quite get it to work. And when you already see Photic and ppgod moving back up towards this top side, I imagine LvMao is immediately going to run up here, see if he can get the Rift Herald down as well to get that gold into Photic and ppgod's hands. But as I say that, just looking at the mana on Photic, he's not going to have the best of wave push here.
He won't, but gotta see if he can at least make a little bit of damage onto that topside tower, try to get some of those plates down for himself, as we did see that transition come through for V5 in terms of how they want to play. They're actually bringing for LNG. LvMao was hovering up towards the top side. Now Doinb might be in some trouble here. Uses the Fate Sealed there again, but now the damage might just be able to be stuck, and there's the flash, there's the kill. V5 2-0 up.
LvMao again, 100% kill participation in the early stages. Tarzan
Early
low.
flash from Rookie. LvMao, he might go down in respite, and Tarzan answers and avenges his mid laner.
Good response from Tarzan. With LvMao's flash being down, knew that he wouldn't be able to escape away, and I mean just the base damage that this ultimate has as level 6 is absolutely insane on the Cyclone. You can see it there. LvMao just does not stand a chance.
Yeah, the armor shred helps a lot as well, even in these early moments, right? Photic is still back on the top side, so we'll see that consistent shakeup here in terms of laning, and at least V5 trying to find an advantage against Ala. But I think you're starting to see that strength that, as you had said earlier, V5 wanted with this composition. Ala is in trouble up here, has to pop the Slicing Maelstrom, does get the stun, the flash comes out, final chapter lands again, and V5, they go up another kill, this time to ppgod.
Really nice call from ppgod to hold on to the final chapter until they saw the flash from Ala. And V5 now, they will get the kill, but importantly now, they will also get some chip damage onto this top side. Rookie and LvMao are also moving up to this top side because Doinb's missing from mid, and they might be a bit worried about some weird business happening here with Tarzan and Doinb.
I wonder where the Rift Herald play is going to come out from LvMao. He is hovering this top side. Could break that tower if they want to put some more focus, as they are bringing Rookie up here for some of that aggression.
TP from Ala into the mid lane. Oh, the reset right at the wrong time for Tarzan. So LvMao will be able to steal away this blue buff, but they have to be careful. Like Ala, as you can see, is able to clear out the mid lane wave and could move across, but not going to be able to do so. I'm surprised we're cutting into the replay here because that feels quite tense, but again, you're kind of seeing, like, look, Rookie uses the Frozen Tomb as the Fate's Unsealed Fate comes through. So it means that when LvMao here flashes forward, just about able to get the kill there on towards the Yone. And Tarzan, knowing that LvMao has no flash, there is just so much damage from this Cyclone at the level 6 mark that you just can't stand up to it.
Yeah, there's just no way. And V5 now right back where we were just a little bit ago, as LNG have brought a decent response in their own right. No Rift Herald play just yet, has about a quarter left on that cooldown, but they are fine, feasting on Tarzan's jungle here. They will eventually move out, but at this point, right, the empowered back has come through, the quick reset from V5, and I wonder if this is maybe a moment for LNG to try to catch off Photic.
Yeah, do you still have the spell shield? Do you still have the flash? I think Photic just really wanted to try and get that plate that I think is still sitting there, if I'm looking at it correctly. Yeah, so still that plate is there if they can try and get that one, but just a bit unfortunate that they weren't quite able to get a bit more gold onto Photic, especially when you look at the gold. Yeah. Sorry, the items that he's picked up there. That would have been the completed Kraken Slayer for him, which would have been so nice to have, especially with 20 seconds until Dragon. But V5 kind of going, look, it's not really worth it. The Kraken Slayer would be nice, but actually having Photic at this Dragon as a spawns is going to be so much more important.
Oh, it is so incredibly important. We actually got to see the trade in bottom lane. A bit of back and forth there. The Ornn Horn not going to be available for the Dragon fight if they do want to force it on that one. But in all actuality, LNG trying to set up themselves around here. They want to try to contest, but the Rift Herald has been spawned up in bottom lane for V5. Here comes LNG, though. They're pouncing a little bit on to XLB. I don't know if they have the damage to necessarily follow up. That final chapter is huge, and now they're going back in. Tarzan goes down first. LvMao very close to death, but will not. The thumbs up for Photic. Huge in terms of confidence for V5, and they got the charge off.
Yeah, massive play for V5, and I was about to say a dangerous one for V5. Like, Rich not having his Call of the Forge God was going to be a disaster leading into that fight, but Tarzan overextends the exhaust off of, or onto LNG as well, made it so difficult for them to be able to follow up properly in that fight. So excellent job from V5 to actually keep themselves safe.
It's actually incredible the way they were able to navigate that one, and also the confidence for LvMao to go back in there to make sure they can get that kill back. It's really good stuff, and I think obviously you see the setup here from LNG.
Yeah, I mean, very close to going down LvMao, but able to keep himself safe with the present card. And then that final chapter just coming across here. Well, sorry, I thought I saw exhaust going down, but actually wasn't. It was just Photic being able to set up with the final chapter for ppgod that kept light in check. So really nicely done by V5 on that play. And again now, Dragon is up and available. This time around, Rich has that ultimate up as well. Has TP available to try and get down to this fight. And don't forget as well, with the amount of unsealed spellbooks that are available between the solo laners, there's going to be a lot of exhausts and that you're going to have to keep an eye out for here as LNG.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun to kind of keep an eye out in specific. But I also want to check back into what we saw from LNG game number 1, right? It was that proactivity from the level 6 mark. The paranoias were coming in so clutch. They were able to turn around the objective stacking for V5, where this time, Doinb on the Yone feels a little bit different, right? You're trying to get that scaling aspect going, and we're not seeing that necessarily proactive play moving out of the mid lane.
And that is the downside of this, Yone. And ideally what you'd want to try and do as LNG is like lean into strong topside skirmishes, which is exactly what we saw against Weibo, right? Where they were able to lean in towards first Rift Herald. Doinb gets a bunch of early kills and he looks great. But the problem that you're having right now is that because Rookie's had such good control over the mid lane, because you've got a lot of push coming through from Photic and ppgod on that bottom side, they've been able to set themselves up successfully with these early dragons, and now with the next Rift Herald spawn, it feels a bit dangerous for LNG to try and take that fight. You've already got the Zeal completed for Photic, you've got Liandry's Anguish there for Rookie. They want to try and make a pick happen onto Rookie before this starts.
They might be able to do just that. They have V5 RTPing in, and he's buying a ton of time, kind of like Doinb did in game number 1. He'll burn a cleanse there from the spellbook as well, so LNG tried. He got some cooldowns out, but not much. Oh, Tarzan's going for the flank here. He might be a little bit scary as he maybe try to catch Photic on the other side, but LNG just trying to play all avenues here.
Yeah, the thing is though, Rookie can TP back into this. Not having that ultimate is a bit sad, but still has that stopwatch available, can still get in with the Ring of Frost and be that engaged tool, which is why V5 considering going for the fight here.
setting up in terms of objective vision clearing here, but the Shelly's already gone. So LNG get that one. They get their first objective of game number 2, but now they got to get out, and Rookie is right on the edge here. Nice denial, but it's still the Ornn that comes out from Rich. The Cyclone was utilized by Tarzan as well. They just want to try to get back to this mid lane, maybe try to catch out Rookie. They don't do so. Mid lane falls to Photic. He's starting to get pretty fed on this Sivir.
V5 didn't actually want the fight. They were like, hey, we're going to play this slow. We've got pushing mid. As long as we can deny access, we're going to be in a good spot to get the mid lane turret. V5 seeing if maybe they could catch out Ala in transition to the bot side, but that's another outer turret down. That top lane turret so incredibly low as well, off of both pushes from Rich and Photic. And it looks like, again, V5, we were kind of questioning the salty run back, but it's smooth sailing for V5 right now.
The smooth run back, no longer salty. But it's actually incredible to see the difference, right? And that's something that we know V5 for, right? The mechanical skill, the execution.
I wanted to make a joke about them adding vinegar because this is crisp, and then I realized you'd call them chips.
You know what? I would adapt, just like V5 to this one. I guess not that much adaptation, but you know what? I would be there for you, Dagda. I'm calling them chips from now on. Wait, no.
No, that's the problem.
It's the other way.
No,
we've been exposed. Dagda, our synergy. Oh no. We do have second item completions, though, at least for Photic. A lot of strength in that aspect. He's coming back out onto the map at LNG. They're trying to set something up towards top side with Tarzan and Doinb. Little do they know, they are getting collapsed on by a lot of V5 members here. Need to be a little careful, as it is a speed up here used by V5. And they have the nice final chapter layered across. They're TPing in from LNG, but it's too little too late. Now Ala wants to find the big slicing maelstrom, but he needs to immediately back out of there. And just rough decision-making from LNG.
And this is exactly how V5 play their mid games. This is what we're talking about with the picks that they tend to find before any of these like big objectives, right? V5 want to go for the objective, which is this top lane turret. Great. Sneak Xiaolong bound to this top side with ppgod, catch LNG with their pants down. And now not only are they extending their gold lead, but they're getting more control on the map as well, taking over the jungle of LNG, and this is looking so much better from V5. This is the V5 that we saw beat top esports in that 2-0 at the end of the split.
Yeah, this was not the V5 that we saw come out in game number 1. They knew, or at least the Nocturne might just be the biggest difference here, and we get to look back at that play and LNG just kind of getting caught.
Yeah, I mean, just really good call here from V5. And the thing is, they know that there's probably going to be a Tarzan here, so they bring the kitty cat along to make sure that the Monkey King is no longer the king of the jungle. And now you got to look over down towards this bottom side, because Dragon in 15 seconds, everything available on V5 side apart from the Ignite, and a similar story on LNG side except for that TP for Ala. And that's why V5 again, see what we mean, looking for the picks on bot side.
They have no tower to defend themselves here. Tarzan just trying to get out the clone. He goes right back in with the Cyclone. The lightning crashes from light, but Tarzan immediately goes down. They're buying so much time. The slicing maelstrom back, and the fate sealed. Is it enough? Doinb has to go right back in V5. They're layering this fight so beautifully. The Clint has to come out from light as well. They get a couple members, and they turn right back to the Dragon Pit.
The jungler for V5 is still standing, so they will get to move over for a third dragon to their name. Yes, LNG got to turn some of those kills back around, but V5 are still getting these objectives, and now it is disaster for LNG. They're staring down the barrel of a soul point for V5, and as well, the fact that it's going to be the Hextech Dragon means that they're going to get, the increased attack speed, the increased ability haste, but having those slowing auto attacks for a short range composition is going to be so key. And just a really nice call here from V5. Remember what we talked about, like, again, they love to just overload one side of the map quickly, find the picks before the objective, like find these creative moments where they can actually pick you off before you enter river, and this is just a great example of it.
It really is. And again, ppgod with the final chapters, it has been such a glow up. Where in game number 1, like, still on the Yuumi, still some big final chapters, but in this one, it has been a huge difference maker in a lot of these fights. And I hate to hark back on a point of like the compositional difference from LNG just in the 1 point in terms of the Nocturne, but it does feel like when you don't have that crazy utility for the Paranoia, V5 are fine taking those front to backs that we were hyping up so much of in that last game.
And it's been nuts to see from Photic how he has kind of leaned from like the engage tools that we saw from him in spring, and even back when he was, you know, on V5 in the miracle run they had in summer 2020. Like, he's 100% win rate on Seraphine, 100% win rate on Nami, 100% win rate on Lulu. Like, even when you look at like other ones, like his most played this split is Renata with a 63% win rate over 11 games. Yuumi, he's won 2/3 of the games that he's played on. Like, the supports that ppgod has actually shown on are these enchanters, which is incredibly different when you look at the biggest criticisms he had was his over-aggression, mispositioning, getting caught out on picks like Lulu in the laning phase, and now he's so instrumental when he gets towards these team fights on these picks like Yuumi.
That's the growth arc that we all love to see, especially from ppgod. At this point, it is a difference maker in the series. It has been a difference maker for V5, and I think now with the confidence, the setup that V5 have, with the lead that they have, right, you're working on 3 items now for Photic on the Sivir, and I feel like we're gonna see, you know, the difference maker from light in game number 1 on the Zeri, but now it is all on Photic for those late game fights to capitalize on the pickouts that V5 will be looking for.
Yes, you know, Photic stands there and goes, how come I don't see you beside me when I walk on the beach and your footsteps are not beside me? And ppgod whispers, because I'm playing Yuumi. And it looks fantastic for them as V5 now will start to move forward. And actually, they are going to be able to take over so much of this map. You can see it here, like immediately running in to get the vision control down. V5 are looking again to keep these picks going, overloading one side of the map. And honestly, look, they could start Baron. They could look for some really strong objective fights at that if they wanted to. But it's more so about trying to spot out where LNG are. Specifically spot out where Tarzan is as well. Because it's basically a case of if we have the entire bot side littered with wards and we don't see Tarzan, well then you know he's on top side and Xiaolongbao needs to be there to position around that.
Yeah, I think also for LNG, right, you're getting a lot of the hesitance to pull off these fights, right? You're not getting the big slicing maelstrom plays trying to come from Ala yet because that confidence has been broken a little bit in this game, right? 3 objectives, or 3 dragons at least for V5. They're on the cusp of the soul. That gives them so much more decision making. And Tarzan finally looks for a little bit of vision there, but immediately gets aggressed out, and that's the problem. They don't feel like they have the setup at all for LNG. So for moving forward, Dagda, how do you see them at all, if any, coming back into this one?
I mean, it definitely feels like you need a monstrous team fight for this to try and work out. And it's going to be a case of like Ala getting a big flank, getting on towards Photic, picking him off, setting up for Doinb to come through with the unsealed face. This like wombo combo situation. It just becomes incredibly difficult to do so this time around because unlike in the last game, Doinb had very easy access to Photic. Whereas this time around, it's not quite as easy to get onto that because you do have to try and, like, you don't have that unlimited range, well, nearly unlimited range that the Nocturne offers you. Ala as well isn't in the best of situations. 0-3 has got his 2 items completed, but when you look at, like, Photic with 3 items, Rookie pushing his Shadow Flame as well, like, you just don't quite have the damage that you want to have this big upfront burst. And again, look at the exhaust. Rookie exhaust with the unsealed spell, but ppgod with the exhaust right as this dragon spawns.
On the hunt coming out, and they feel like they've got him. That is Ala already down, no slicing maelstrom there, and this is an easy pickoff right before the soul comes up for V5. Exactly what they've been looking for all game long. They might find even more. There's the Fate Seal, does get followed up on, and Photic is right here. Doinb, he's trying to be a super carry, but he gets super carried into the ground. LNG actually playing still pretty aggressively with Tarzan. I don't know if that's the aggression you know and love right now, as Light and LvMao do get him out of there. They've got to try to find a miracle still here for Tarzan.
And now V5 in a perfect spot to try and pick up this dragon. Tarzan is still here. It's going to be a miracle steal, but honestly, I think V5, you just look for the engage.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need to look for the contest, the 50-50, because maybe they do anyway. As Tarzan goes in with a big cyclone, he's not going to stay alive very long. He is in the fight, though, and the dragon not focused for V5 at all. They know they just need to take the fight here. Oh, nice slicing maelstrom from Ala, but he is immediately exhausted, and V5 claim the prize that they came for, unless LvMao can't get it.
Now, LNG were trying to say, hey, look, maybe we can buy time for Doinb to respawn, come in with the teleport, but it's just not going to be the case. So Ala will get one back, will get a sizable shutdown as well, onto Photic. I think he got 1,000 gold there just off of that kill, so nicely done, at least to get some gold back in his pocket. But yeah, I mean, V5 again, we talk about them looking to find these picks. Ala just walks directly in towards Rookie. He thought he was safe because he'd seen Rich walk off, but not realizing that the Lissandra was still around. And then here, again, like Rich just playing keep away. Tarzan tries to get in onto Photic, tries to set up for this TP from Ala, but he's just not tanky enough to survive as long as he needs to. And it means that Light ends up falling to the rest of V5.
Yeah, there's not much to say. I like the attempted miracle play, but they have so many peel options. They have so far in the lead. It's very difficult to find a play like that, and it just feels like, you know, LNG falling further and further behind. They're kind of, at this point, resigned to V5 holding control over the map and trying to find ways within that. But a tier 2 tower is quickly going to go down for V5. This Hextech Soul, huge damage implication, who's clearing implications as well. And at this point, V5, they're just trying to drive it home in that hit hard motto.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if V5 are actually going to immediately go towards this Baron. And my biggest worry for them is that if they can still get Ala into position, like you don't have flash, you don't have those exhausts that we were talking about. So I think V5 are more so trying to bait LNG into this area so they can maybe look to get more picks. But I'd be very surprised if V5 actually do start up any of these like Baron picks just as the exhaust isn't up.
Rookie is looking for picks. He's been setting up the frozen tombs consistently here. They'll put a control ward over the wall, just trying to make sure if they see anybody leaving the base, and try to find a complement of that. And yeah, LvMao and Light not able to clear that one just yet because they know what could be waiting for them. Ala, though, way out in left field here. He's just going to try to go under tower. I don't know how we got here, and maybe it's one of those memes, but Ala goes down quickly to V5.
Yeah, I think this one, kind of the writings on the wall here for LNG. With Ala now dead as well, they will turn over towards the Baron. And I mean, this is the first time we've really seen LNG honestly slaughtered in playoffs thus far. And V5 looking pretty damn good as they go through this one. Tarzan trying to see if he can get into position. No flash to get over the wall. And Rich still chasing. Means that he's now just found himself on the wrong side of town.
I think V5 realized that, right? Actually, they're going to send Shallow Bow up here just in case with ppgod. They'll eventually take down the Monkey King himself. They did get a tower in bottom lane for Doinb. So some bounties coming across the board for LNG, but it ain't going to do much to the gold purse that's sitting in the pocket of V5, and especially looking towards V5 finishing this one out, right? We're getting those 3-item spikes, the 4-item spikes coming across here, and it just feels like the next team fight, the next big objective, either the Elder Dragon coming up in almost 3 minutes or just fighting with this soul, is V5's ticket to win.
Well, maybe picking Doinb as well could be a pretty nice punch in that ticket.
There's not much he can do. He goes down immediately, and that's another big pickup for Photic, but another big pickup for V5, who have just been pounding this win home against LNG.
And we said that this was a confidence game for V5. Like running back the same composition, saying no, the only problem was the Nocturne, and this is night and day from what we saw in that last game, especially again as these question marks keep being raised around V5. You know, we saw what happened in spring, having that slump midway through the season. Again, we're seeing that when V5 have control of a game, when they're ones dictating the pace of this game, they look absolutely incredible, and why so many people were posturing them as one of our top seeds going forward from the LPL.
Yeah, I mean, we said going into the first game of the series, if they show up, it's a scary difference. It's a nightmare potential for any team going against V5, but then we do see those lacking moments. But again, that confidence game, that is so important to me. I know I'm always a big proponent of emotion and momentum in LPL, especially when you're looking at players at a competitive level. But with a comeback win like this from that game one in the same composition, just mechanically executing better, having less mistakes, like that means that momentum is fully in the court of V5. And at this point, right, LNG are going to have to pick apart their compositions and find a way forward, because the Yone is something they've gone back to, so it's something that's different for them. But at this point, they've got to find something that can contest with V5.
And it's not looking so hot for them right now. Doinb.
Tarzan's on the flank here. They do get the Slicing Maelstrom in as well, but quickly put to bed our LNG, as this will be game 2 going holistically to V5. There is no hope left in this one. Doinb tries to get a little bit more damage in, but the Nexus Towers are the focus, and V5, the smooth run back comes to a close, and V5 go up in a game. They get a 1-1 tie on the series now in this best of 5 in a battle for double elimination.
A grin from Rookie as he goes down there at the end, but he knew that the job was already done. Brilliant stuff from V5 there, making sure that they were able to get themselves across the finish line. And now, I mean, do I give it to you, Mazel? What do we have on our hands?
Bring it. Well, all right, let's hold it. Let's see if we get a game 5. I'm not cursing the game 5 here. I need to see these two teams go 5 games. I have to. So let's hold off on it. But in all actuality, right, like this is the V5 that we were expecting coming into the series, to holistically control the game, not let the enemy team find really any avenues, set up picks before objectives, control those objectives, and they executed to a T.
And now you've got to go back to the drawing board, as you kind of alluded to in that game for LNG. Like, what are you now going to do? Because I don't think these melee mids are going to work out. Yeah. I think you've got to have something that can try and contest the push against Lissandra, because you can see, like, Rookie having control over mid, leaning into that bot side, getting dragons, getting Rift Heralds, getting this game firmly under the control of V5, and that's where V5 are at their most terrifying. So I think coming back into this, I think we'd be looking to see, hey, look, I know it's been banned away, but do we get things like the Talia for Doinb? Do we get more of these kind of control mages? Do we get Doinb, putting away the dark technologies for the moment and just trying to play more standard against Rookie?
I know there's still the hovering dark technology, the Pantheon. I don't know if we'll actually get to see that one, but I want to see the Akali. I want to see something that can really come out for Doinb and make a statement game against Rookie, kind of like what we saw in game number 1. But this was a statement game from V5. You see that control. There's a little blip on the top in the color of LNG, but in all actuality, it was a huge performance, a huge pickup performance from V5. And I got to put some loving on the shallow bow here on the Xin Zhao, right? Tarzan was not as proactive in the second game, and he took full advantage of that. And
that's one of the things we're highlighting coming in today, right? Like, it has been Xiaolong Bao stepping up, replacing Karsa in this jungle. 80.6% kill participation at 15 for the jungler. Like, that is an absurd